Exposed. My husband canceled my wedding invite. He discovered I own a 50M luxury hotel empire. Rachel stood frozen in her modest kitchen, the smell of fresh pancakes wafting through the air, when her world began to unravel. Tom had just thrown a bombshell, canceling their wedding out of nowhere. The image of their fairy tale wedding shattered like a fragile piece of glass. She felt a tightness in her chest, a whirlwind of emotions threatening to spill over. How could something so right turn so wrong? For years, her family's diner had been a sanctum of warmth, laughter, and home-cooked meals. Starbucks' corporate machine couldn't compete with the smell of her mother's famous syrup bubbling on the stove. But deep down, Rachel was hiding a secret that wove the fabric of her identity. She was not just a diner girl, but a powerhouse. By night, she turned hustle into success, sculpting a 50 million luxury hotel empire while her family slept. Entering this new chapter of her life felt like slipping on fairy tale silk. Tom was charming, and from a wealthy family, everything Rachel longed for. But the excitement of their upcoming wedding, with its Pinterest-perfect decorations and the promise of forever, crumbled beneath the weight of unmasked truth. When Tom discovered her success, he reacted like a dam bursting. His shock morphed into disdain, spilling over into their lives like a catastrophic flood. With two opposing worlds colliding, Rachel's heart sank as Tom pushed her away, leaving her alone with the disappointment of her family, who treasured humility above all else. The whispers from Tom's upper-crust social circle mercilessly taunted her. Who does she think she is? Just a diner girl lost in a luxury world. The pressure intensified, each comment tearing at Rachel's dignity. She felt like a stranger in her own city, a place where memories danced in the warm glow of evening light, but now stung like bitter cold. As the days passed, Rachel struggled with heartbreak, grappling with feelings of betrayal. But her resilient spirit ignited a fire within her. She refused to let her dreams derail in despair. Inspired to bridge the gap between the socioeconomic divide that weighed heavily on her hometown, she organized a community event. This was her way of channeling pain into purpose, uniting the hardworking and privileged, showcasing the true essence of her city's heart. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. The night of the event, the air thrummed with anticipation. Rachel stood on stage, adrenaline pumping as she delivered her speech, calling for unity. The crowd buzzed with energy, their faces reflecting hope and shared laughter. Each connection breathed the life back into her spirit, reminding her that her roots and dreams were intrinsically linked. As the event unfolded, Rachel's heart raced when she spotted Tom, navigating through the crowd. Their eyes locked, sparks of unresolved feelings igniting between them. The weight of everything that had happened hung in the air like unsaid words. Would they be able to see past their different worlds, or were the shadows of their differences too overwhelming? Time hung suspended, and Rachel's heart felt a mix of dread and excitement as she prepared for a confrontation that could change everything. Rachel's breath hitched in her throat as Tom drew nearer. The vibrant energy of the event dulled, and her surroundings blurred. It was just the two of them in that moment, caught in a storm of unsaid apologies and lingering feelings. He approached with caution, eyes clouded with uncertainty. "Rachel," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. Each syllable felt heavy, as if he understood the weight of their fractured relationship. "Why are you here?" she managed to ask, her voice shaky but fierce. She had spent sleepless nights crafting her speech, spilling her heart out to the community, and here he was, seemingly changing the course of her carefully laid plans. Tom's jaw tightened, and for a moment, he looked like the man she had fallen in love with. "I needed to see you to understand." The way he licked his lips suggested he was grappling with his own truth, too. "I thought you wanted no part of my life," Rachel replied, her eyes flashing with a mix of anger and hurt. "You made that clear when you canceled the wedding." His gaze dropped, shame enveloping him like a heavy cloak. "I didn't know how to process it. I felt like everything I believed about us was a lie. But seeing you up there," he gestured towards the crowd, "I realize it's not just about the money. You have so much passion, so much drive." Rachel's heart fluttered. The compliment glimmered amidst the frustration, but could it mend the hurt? She stepped back, putting space between them. "You turned your back on me, Tom. You chose to believe the worst without even trying to understand. How do I know you won't do it again?" A flicker of desperation crossed his face. "Because I care about you, Rachel. I was scared of what it all meant. I've only seen the world through one lens. Your world, it's different, brighter. I want to learn about it. I want to learn about you." His admission struck a chord deep within her. Her desire for connection battled against the walls that had risen to protect her heart. She let a moment of silence settle over them, the crowd's laughter and chatter fading into the background. "You canceled a wedding over the very person I've always been," she said, struggling to hold back tears. "You didn't give us a chance." "I want that chance now," he replied, his voice softer, earnest. "I'm sorry for how I reacted. I want to understand who you are, the real you. I don't want to keep living in the shadows of my family's expectations." Unsure of how to respond, Rachel felt her heart doing double time inside her chest. The thought of reconciliation was electric, yet terrifying. Could she trust him to stay no matter what? Or would this discussion lead to more pain down the line?
"Can we talk?"
Tom breathed, as if making the suggestion itself held the promise of a new beginning. Rachel's stomach twisted, torn between old wounds and a flicker of hope. Her heart felt like it was standing on a precipice, ready to leap. But should she take that leap with someone who had nearly shattered everything she had built? The decision spun in her mind, each second like a heartbeat, full of weight and meaning. She glanced at the crowd behind them, friends, family, people waiting for her next move, every expectation heavy on her shoulders. "Okay," she finally said, gazing into his eyes, "but know this trust takes time." Tom nodded, relief washing over him like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. As they stepped away from the crowd, Rachel's voice caught in her throat. She didn't just want to heal their wounds. She wanted to reinvent what love meant for them both. Could it be possible that they could create something new from the ashes of their past? As they moved to find a quiet corner to talk, somewhere far from the noise, a question lingered in the air: would their reconnection be a path to healing, or would they end up only rewriting the same hurtful chapter? Rachel led Tom away from the vibrant sounds of the celebration, each step feeling heavier than the last. The energy of the event felt light years away. Instead, a thick tension cloaked them, wrapping around their shoulders like an old, familiar burden. Finally, they found a secluded bench nestled between blooming flowers, their colors beating softly against the evening sky. Rachel sat first, her fingers nervously tracing the engraved wood. Tom slid into the space beside her, maintaining a respectful distance, yet the warmth between them was palpable. "Rachel," he started, and she could feel every emotion packed into that single word. "I know things are complicated. I want to fix this, but I don't know how." His sincerity shone through the concern in his eyes, yet Rachel felt her emotional barriers tightening. "You think we can just jump back into things the way they were?" she challenged, chin tilting defiantly. "Do you even understand what you're asking?" Tom hesitated, guilt washing over him. "All I know is that I miss you. I miss us. I want to really know who you are beyond the businesswoman everyone sees, the one who runs a hotel empire." She studied him, searching for signs of the boy she once loved and the man sitting beside her now. "You threw away our future because you couldn't handle my dreams. I've fought hard for what I have, Tom. It's not just a pastime for me." He nodded, brow furrowed in thought, gazing into the fading sunset. "I realize that now. At first, I saw your ambition as a threat, but standing there tonight, hearing you speak, it lit something in me. I want to support you, cheer you on, not feel intimidated by your success. Her heart softened, yet the reality of their past loomed like a storm cloud. You're saying all the right things, but can you mean them? I want to walk this path again if it ends in more heartbreak. I'm ready to do better, Tom insisted, his voice firm. I can no longer hide in the shadows, hoping you'll be okay without me. I see who you are, and I want to stand beside you. No more running. No more doubt. Rachel felt her defenses wavering. The memories of laughter shared, of dreams whispered between them, threatened to drown her. But could she forgive his actions? But what if it all falls apart again? Rachel asked, her voice cracking under the weight of fear. You're talking about a future without knowing if you can handle the reality of my life. Tom turned to her, his gaze piercing, earnest. What if it doesn't? What if we discover a love deeper than what we thought possible? Finding out together, facing everything as partners. Isn't that worth the risk? Hope began to flicker within her, but beneath it lay a gnawing worry. The stakes felt higher than before. Still, as she searched his eyes, desperation marinated with vulnerability filled the air between them. What will that mean for us if we fail again? She pressed, wanting him to unravel the uncertainties almost suffocating her. Tom leaned in, conviction lacing his words. We'll learn. We'll grow. Just like you built your empire brick by brick, we'll build this relationship with trust and communication. One step at a time. Rachel sighed, torn between wanting to take that leap and fearing the fall that could follow. It won't be easy. Relationships never are, and I refuse to pretend they are. Then let us be real together, he encouraged, reaching for her hand. As their fingers intertwined, Rachel felt an unexpected surge of courage wash over her. But with it came the weight of questions lingering in her heart. What if they both dared to dream again, this time together? Could they truly find a way back through the maze of hurt, or was this just a momentary flicker before darkness swallowed them whole once more? As they sat there, the sun dipping beneath the horizon, she caught his gaze and whispered, "Then let us see if we can change our story." And with that, a small spark ignited between them, but the night seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the next chapter to unfold. Would their fragile hope blossom into something resilient, or would the shadows of their past pull them under? Rachel felt a rush of emotions as Tom's fingers settled against hers. The warmth was both comforting and unsettling, igniting memories she had buried deep. How many times had they sat in silence like this, holding hands, dreaming about their future? Just the thought brought a mixture of joy and bitterness. I want to believe you, she whispered, staring at their entwined fingers, but I'm terrified. I can't go through that pain again. The evening air shifted, the gentle fragrance of flowers surrounding them unsettlingly juxtaposed against the turmoil swirling within her. Tom leaned closer, brushing a stray hair behind her ear. I don't want to hurt you. I see how hard you've fought for everything, and instead of being your partner, I became your burden. His admission hit her like a tidal wave. His vulnerability made her heart ache. But it also scared her. What if his desire to change wasn't enough? It won't be one conversation. We can't just wave a magic wand here, she cautioned, her voice barely above a whisper. I know, he replied softly, an intensity in his gaze. But every journey starts with a single step. Let us decide to take that step together. They sat in the tranquil moment, the world outside receding further. Rachel knew that taking a step forward would mean unraveling layers of hurt that had built up like a thick wall. Could she allow herself the chance to hope again? You have so much ambition, Tom said. I admire that about you. My greatest fear used to be feeling overshadowed. But now he paused, searching for the right words. Now, I want to be the one who walks beside you, cheering you on. I want to be part of your journey, not just an afterthought. Tears brimmed in her eyes, surprising her. But what if your support isn't enough? What if what-ifs don't get us anywhere? He interrupted, his tone firm, yet gentle. We have to face this moment head-on. Together. Rachel took a deep breath, feeling the air fill her lungs. Each inhale felt like a promise, a commitment to herself as much as to him. Okay, she said, resolve seeping into her words. Let us start fresh. But I need you to truly understand what that means. Tell me, he urged, his expression earnest, full of purpose. She paused, her heart racing. It means I won't compromise my dreams for anyone again. This is more than just a job for me. It's about my identity, my values. If you're in, you need to believe that. I do. His voice was steady, unwavering. I want to help you build that empire, not pull you away from it. There was a spark in his eye that gave her hope. Maybe, just maybe, they could tackle this together. But a voice in the back of her mind shouted warnings, reminding her of their failed past. She needed to tread carefully. Trust has to be rebuilt, she added, feeling the weight of her words. We can't ignore what happened. I'll earn that trust back, he declared, his voice filled with determination. I'm here, Rachel. You're not alone in this anymore. As night settled into a deep indigo blanket above them, Rachel rotated her hand in his, feeling his warmth enveloping hers. But the shadows danced just beyond the glow of their moment. Could they truly navigate the complexity ahead, or was hope merely a temporary disguise over the heartache that loomed? The night held its breath as they sat, the silence carrying unseen tides of change. Would their resolve stand firm against the currents of their past, or would it be swept away before dawn? With a tremor in her voice, Rachel posed a question that felt monumental. What happens when the world outside learns about your commitment to me? Will it change your mind? The flicker in his eyes reflected uncertainty, placing a new challenge in their path. Would he stand by her even when everything else seemed to fall apart? And as the darkness wrapped around them, Rachel braced herself for the answer that would shape their future. As Tom's gaze lingered on Rachel, a silence thick with unspoken fears hung between them. He seemed to be wrestling with her question, the weight of it settling heavily in the air. Was it really just them now, or would the world outside their bubble pry through their careful renewal? Rachel, he started, his voice low, I don't want the past to overshadow our present. I want to focus on us. But deep down, she could see the doubts flickering in his eyes. What if the moment they realize who I really am? Will they expect more from you? Rachel's heart raced. She was walking a tightrope between hope and dread. What if they put pressure on you? What if it changes everything? Tom shook his head, his grip on her tightening like a lifeline. Listen, whatever they think doesn't matter. I'm not that person anymore. I want you. Not the hotel or the empire, just you. Can't you see that? A mixture of warmth and uncertainty swirled within Rachel. Could they stand resilient against the rise of the world's expectations? But you have your own dreams, your goals. What if I hold you back? He smiled softly, but there was a hint of seriousness in his eyes. There's always going to be pressure, Rachel. But I want to bear it with you, not just for you. You've fought hard to create this life, and I admire you for it. But you don't have to shoulder it alone anymore. In that moment, she felt a flicker of warmth amid the confusion, a candle-esque glow against the dark shadows of doubt. Could Tom's words really be a foundation to rebuild on? Yet unease disrupted her peace. The thought of attending industry gatherings, gala events, of walking the red carpet, was that a life they were ready for again? Would she care about the whispers behind her back that questioned their relationship and their motives? Before she could answer herself, the phone buzzed in her pocket, startling her. The screen lit up with a notification from her business partner, Carla. They had been discussing a quick meeting to finalize some details for their upcoming charity gala, a highlight event for their hotel to get more exposure. Rachel hesitated, torn between her personal life and the demands of her profession. Are you okay? Tom asked, sensing her distraction. The concern in his voice pulled her back into the moment. She forced a smile, though it didn't quite reach her eyes. Just work, she replied, but could he sense her battle beneath the surface? It never really ends, does it? No, it doesn't, he admitted, running a hand through his hair in frustration. And I respect how driven you are. But I hope you remember to pause sometimes. We both need to find balance. Rachel nodded slowly. I know. Balance, right? As the words echoed in her mind, she couldn't shake the feeling that things were about to change drastically. She had built this life from the ground up, But was it too much? Did love really fit into this intricate existence she had crafted? Tom, I'm scared, she finally confessed, the vulnerability spilling from her lips before she could pull it back. Me too, he said softly, but that's okay. It means we're figuring things out together. Just don't push me away. Let us face this fear and the journey head on. They shared a long look filled with fears, regrets, and an inkling of hope for what lay ahead, but Rachel sensed an impending storm. The soft glow of the moonlight faded as a cloud moved in, veiling its light. Together, she murmured, but the word felt fragile, an echo of the challenges ahead. As they sat in the dimming light, Rachel couldn't shake the nagging feeling that they were standing on the edge of something monumental. The path to rebuilding their connection would be fraught with obstacles, and their love might be tested by circumstances they could barely begin to understand. Just then, another message flashed on her phone. This time the sender's name turned her stomach with a chill. Luke, her old flame and the industry rival who knew far too much about her past. What did he want? Tom questioned, studying her face, the color drained from her cheeks. A reminder of what I'm really up against, and as she contemplated her next move, Rachel wondered if they could survive the truth that was threatening to creep back into their lives. How much was she willing to sacrifice? Because soon, the world would know, and she feared it would test everything they had just begun to rebuild. Rachel stared at her phone, the weight of Luke's message pulling at her insides. The screen glowed with his name, a name that once brought her joy, and now only conjured memories of heartbreak and ambition gone awry. It's nothing, she finally whispered, but the tremor in her voice gave her away. Rachel, Tom urged, his brow furrowing with concern. What did he say? She hesitated, battling the urge to keep it from him, but the threat of keeping secrets loomed large.
He wants to meet.
Says he has something important to discuss. Something about the gala, she managed to say, her throat tightening. Tom's eyes narrowed, a mix of anger and protectiveness flaring. What could he possibly want with you? You don't owe him anything. I know, she replied, biting her lip. But he knows the industry. He knows how to play the game. What if? Tom interrupted, his tone sharp but concerned. It's what he wants from you that matters. Does he truly want to help? Or does he hope to use you? She thought she'd buried those concerns along with her past. I'm scared, Tom. I can't let him weaponize my history against us. Tom's grip on her tightened. Then don't let him. This is your life, Rachel. Don't give him the power he wants. You've built something incredible here. You can handle this. A surge of determination bubbled inside her at those words. Maybe it was time to take control. She was more than just a name on a hotel sign. She was a woman who knew how to navigate the storm. Maybe you're right, she said, her voice steadier now. But I don't know if I'm ready to face him. What if he tries to drag you into it? Then we face him together, whatever it takes. Tom's resolve was palpable. Each word felt like a pledge, a promise to stand by her. The bond between them felt stronger in that moment, a tether that reassured her, but anxiety still coiled in her stomach. She glanced back at her phone, the message from Luke still waiting. A pang of vulnerability washed over her again. Was this really a battle she could bear? Can we talk about something else? She suggested, wanting to shift the weight hovering around them. Something positive? Tom's smile returned, brightening the room. Absolutely. Let us daydream a little. What would we do if we could escape this madness? She chuckled, envisioning a peaceful getaway. Tropical island? Just the two of us, with nothing but sunshine and a beach? Now you're talking, he laughed, the sound infectious. Endless sunshine, frozen drinks, let us forget about our responsibilities for just a moment. As they exchanged fantasies about their dream destination, the fear ebbed away, replaced by laughter and lightness. But the laughter felt tentative, reminded of the undercurrent of reality waiting just beyond the horizon. But as they immersed themselves in the moment, Rachel felt a flicker of hope bloom again. Maybe if she could keep her focus on building a future with Tom, even the darkest shadows from the past wouldn't stand a chance. The phone buzzed again, jolting her back to the present. This time, it was a breaking news alert. Her hotel was trending. What's going on? Tom asked, worry threading through his voice as he saw the change in her expression. Rachel's heart raced as she read the headline. Rachel's luxury empire faces controversy. Is the truth about her past finally coming out? Tom, she whispered, the color draining from her face. What does this mean? And as the weight of the world seemed to close in, she wondered if they could navigate this storm together or if the past was destined to drown them both. Would the truth tear them apart, or could they emerge stronger on the other side? Rachel felt the walls close in around her. Panic surged, knotting her stomach as she reread the headline. Each word was a dagger, threatening to expose her deepest fears. Tom leaned closer, his presence grounding her as she fought to keep her breathing steady. Who leaked this? Tom's voice was a low growl, a mixture of outrage and protectiveness. We need to handle this. I don't know, Rachel whispered, her mind racing. I've been careful. I thought I left all that behind. How could this happen now? Maybe it's Luke, Tom suggested, his eyebrows furrowing. He knew how to reach you before. What's stopping him now? Rachel recoiled at the thought. The possibility that Luke was stirring up trouble, digging up her past, made her skin crawl. No, he wouldn't, would he? The question hung in the air, unresolved and heavy. We need to figure this out, Tom said, his tone shifting from red-hot anger to focused determination. First things first, we need to let the press know that you're above all the drama. React before they can define the narrative. I can't just go out there and act like everything is fine. My whole world is coming apart, and I'm terrified of what this means for us. The tremor in her voice crept back, making her words feel fragile. The Rachel I know wouldn't shy away from a challenge, Tom countered, lifting her chin to meet his gaze. Maybe it's time for you to show everyone the real you. Not just the hotel owner, but the woman who molded her own destiny from nothing. The spark of conviction in his voice ignited something inside her. Maybe there was power in facing this storm head-on. Okay, she finally said, her voice steadier. Let us do this. I need to put out a statement. Tom nodded, relief flooding his features.
Great.
We'll set up a press conference. Leave it to me. I'll handle everything from social media to the press briefing. But as she felt the energy shift, a fresh wave of dread gnawed at her insides. What if the truth really was about to come out? What if they dig deeper? We haven't prepared for this. What then? The thought of rehashing old wounds made her stomach twist. Then we address it. Together. Tom's voice was firm, strengthening her resolve. You think we cannot face this? We can do it. You've built something incredible, and they won't be able to take it away from you. She swallowed hard, the doubts inside still whispering loudly. But the fierce look in Tom's eyes pushed her forward. Okay, let us do it. As they gathered information to craft the statement, the phone buzzed again. Tom glanced at it, then back at her, concern etching his face. It's another message from Luke. Her heart sank at the idea of confronting him again. Shall I read it? Yes, Tom replied firmly, leaning closer, but she could see the uncertainty that flickered in his eyes. With trembling fingers, Rachel pressed the screen. What does he want? She read aloud, her stomach tightening. It'll be easier to meet me in person, Luke's message said, punctuated with a smirk emoji. I have some details you'd want to hear. Let's talk before it gets messy for both of us. Tom's jaw clenched. This is a trap.
Don't respond.
Rachel's mind raced with conflicting emotions. If she met Luke, would she be stepping into a lion's den? Or could this be the opportunity to take control of her narrative, face him, and seize back her power? Rachel? Tom prompted, his voice snapping her back to reality.
I
have to think, she replied, gazing out the window. The sky darkened, a harbinger of the tempest that lay ahead. She knew she needed to decide would she confront the ghost of her past or let it fester in the shadows, and as the storm clouds gathered outside, she felt the weight of choices pressing down more than ever. Would facing Luke be the answer she sought, or would it unravel everything she fought for? The phone buzzed again, pulling Rachel from her thoughts. A chill ran down her spine as she glanced at the screen. Another message from Luke. Her fingers hovered above the surface, uncertainty warring with curiosity. "You should ignore it," Tom urged, his voice a mixture of concern and frustration. But what if this was the moment she could finally lay everything to rest? The thought tugged at her. She swallowed hard, the weight of her past leaving an unshakable knot in her stomach. "Tell me, Rachel," Tom said softly, drawing her back into the present. "What do you really want?" Her breath hitched. Did she want closure? Or a confrontation that could spiral out of control? "I want to end this once and for all," she confessed, her voice barely above a whisper. Tom took a step closer, his eyes steady and filled with a determination that steadied her own. "Then let us get you ready. I'll go with you. You don't have to face him alone." She nodded slowly, feeling a flicker of warmth at his unwavering support. But as they moved toward the door, another worry swam to the surface. What if Luke had something shocking to say, something that could shatter the world she had built with Tom? "Rachel," Tom said, sensing the tension in her shoulders. "Whatever he throws at you, remember who you are. You've fought too hard to let him take control now." His unwavering confidence bolstered her resolve, yet doubt still loomed like a thick fog. Would this meeting be the key to freeing herself from her past, or would it pull her deeper into the whirlwind? Arriving at the cafe where she agreed to meet Luke, Rachel felt her heart race. It was small, unassuming, a stark contrast to the emotions whirling around in her mind. She could practically sense the darkness looming just beyond the front door. "Stay close," Tom whispered, as they stepped inside, the aromas of coffee and pastries mingling with tension. Luke was already at a table, a self-satisfied smirk plastered across his face, as if he were sitting in judgment. Rachel felt heat rise in her cheeks. Did he know how much she loathed him? Look who finally decided to show up. Luke waved a hand dramatically, as if drawing an audience's gaze. "I was beginning to think you were too scared to face me." "Cut the games, Luke," Rachel said, feeling adrenaline course through her. "You know why I'm here." "Do I?" he asked, feigning innocence. "I just wanted to share some news. You should probably hear it from me before the press does." He leaned back in his chair, the smugness radiating off him. The drumming of her heart echoed in her ears. Was he about to spill details about her past, or was it something else? She looked at Tom, his eyes narrowed but protective, ready to step in if needed. "What kind of news?" Rachel asked, forcing herself to sound composed. "Legal trouble, potential investors starting to withdraw, let us just say. The headlines might change again soon," he replied, a glint of satisfaction in his eyes. The words hung in the air, sharp and bitter. Her pulse quickened. Panic clashed with anger inside her. Here it was the threat she had feared. Tom's grip tightened on her shoulder, anchoring her. "You don't have to listen to this," he said, his voice low and fierce. But Rachel hesitated. Might this be the conversation that would force the truth into the light? She couldn't let Luke control her narrative any longer. "And what's your angle in all this, Luke? Why would you come to me now?" A sly smile stretched across his lips. "Let us just say I like watching things burn. You have a lot to lose, Rachel. I'm just here to remind you of that." Tears threatened to brim in her eyes, not from fear, but from the realization that confronting him might not bring the closure she desperately sought. Instead, it felt like stepping into a deeper abyss. "Rachel, let us go," Tom said, the urgency in his voice breaking through her thoughts. But just as they started to stand, Luke spoke again, this time with a measure of cold certainty. "I'm not done yet, Rachel. There's a whole world out there waiting, and if you don't play your cards right, you'll lose everything." Again. As she turned away from him, a spark of defiance ignited within her. No more running, no more hiding from the truth. She wouldn't allow him to hold her past against her any longer. As they stepped out into the sea of people outside, the tension shifted. Rachel felt lighter, even as the threat still loomed. She needed to step up her game. The battle was far from over. "Let us take back control," she declared, newfound determination in her voice. But as they moved forward, her phone buzzed again, the screen lighting up with a new notification. The message sent a chill down her spine as dread wrapped around her heart. This one was from a news outlet, hinting at explosive revelations about her life. What more could be coming? With every step, Rachel could feel the storm approaching, one that could either upend her world or solidify her strength. What awaited her next? Would she emerge triumphant, or would the past swallow her whole? The air felt thick as Rachel and Tom walked away from the cafe. He tuned into her heartbeat, each thrum echoing her rising anxiety. The phone buzzed again, and she felt the weight of the world hanging on that small device in her hand. Glancing at the screen, she could hardly breathe as the headline blared out like a gunshot. "Rachel, are you all right?" Tom asked, his voice low and full of concern. I don't know," she stammered, her hands trembling. The news spilling out was like poison in her veins. She focused on the words, horrified and captivated at the same time. 50M Luxury Hotel Empire, she murmured, the implications sinking in. The article was an ember's throw back through the history she thought she was escaping, all her secrets paraded in front of the public. Could it be true? Tom pressed, his eyes narrowing slightly, trying to gauge her reaction. Did you ever own anything like that? She felt herself waver. Not exactly, not in that way. I mean, I was involved, but it's complicated. Rachel, he murmured, squeezing her shoulder gently. You need to explain what is going on. I can see it in your eyes. This is more than just a headline. Rubbing her temples, she tried to piece the past together. Memories flooded back, meetings and phone calls, vague threats and whispering investors. It was all a puzzle, scattered pieces that collectively pressed down on her chest. Did Luke somehow have a hand in this? Did he know more than he was letting on? I can't believe he would stoop this low, she spat, her voice thick with anger. To use my past to destroy my future after everything. Let us think before we react, Tom said, his calm tone cutting through her turmoil like a beacon. We need a plan. Plan? She scoffed, feeling heaviness return as panic surged through her veins. What can we even do? We stand against an empire of lies. How do I fight it when it's all around me? They know everything, and I've barely skimmed the surface of it. He leaned in closer, his voice steady. Start by telling me the truth. Everything. It might not be as complicated as you think if you say it out loud. With a shaky breath, Rachel settled on a wooden bench nearby. The sounds of the bustling city faded into a dull murmur. When I was involved with Luke, I didn't just stumble into a life of luxury. I was manipulated, trapped in deals and agreements. I didn't own the hotels outright, but I was part of the team. Agreements with investors, contracts, even shady ones. Tom nodded, listening intently as she continued, but after everything fell apart, I tried to leave it all behind. I thought I was free, but I guess he has proven otherwise. And now it's back, he murmured, weighing her words with a seriousness that made her shiver. We need to find out how he did this, and maybe even turn it around on him. Rachel's heart thudded in her chest. Turn it around? It feels impossible. Nothing is impossible when you confront your demons, he replied fiercely, determination sparking in his eyes. You're stronger than you think. We can figure out your contracts, who your investors are, and maybe catch him off guard. She felt that flicker of hope reignite. What if someone else is involved? Someone I don't even know about? Then we find them, Tom assured, his hand resting gently on her knee. But first let us put a team together. People who can help sort out the mess he has created. As they sat in that moment of reverie, her phone buzzed again. The uncertainty returned, swirling like a storm as she thought of the headlines, the twists and turns ahead. Could she really face this? What more was coming? With unease mingled with determination, Rachel opened the message. The words made her breath hitch again, twisting her gut into knots. New revelations involving Rachel and Luke ahead of the press conference tomorrow. They had less time than she thought. The air between them charged with urgency. Rachel felt her heart racing. It was about to get a lot darker, and she had to be ready to fight. The question reverberated in her mind. Could she really carve out a space for herself amid the chaos? Tomorrow, she whispered to Tom. We don't have much time. How would she confront her past head-on and what truths lay in wait to be discovered. It was time to make her move. But would it be enough? As dawn broke, Rachel's heart raced. The world outside her window was already alive with bustling energy, but inside, the chaos swirled. She knew the press conference loomed just hours away, and with each tick of the clock, the weight of her choices pressed down harder. Yet amidst the turmoil, the night's revelations sparked a fire within her. She refused to let her past dictate her future. Tom stood beside her, determination radiating from him like a shield. "You've already fought so hard, Rachel. Whatever comes, you can take it." His words steadied her, reminding her of the strength she barely remembered she possessed. "Today is the day I rewrite my story," she declared, clenching her fists. "No more running. No more hiding." The spark in her chest ignited into a blazing resolve. She had climbed mountains to reach where she was now, and there was no way she would let Luke's games undo everything. As they arrived at the press conference venue, the atmosphere buzzed with reporters, buzzing like bees eager for honey. Each camera snapped as they entered, and questions began to cascade over one another like waves crashing against rock. Rachel stepped out before the microphones, steadying herself as she faced the crowd. She felt the warmth of Tom's presence behind her, a silent support that bolstered her fierce resolve. "Good morning," she began, her voice echoing with unexpected confidence. "I'm here to address the headlines circulating about my life and my business." A collective hush fell over the reporters, anticipation crackling in the air. "I want to set the record straight. The narrative you've been fed is far from the truth. I've built my success through hard work and community dedication, not through manipulation or deceit." With each word, Rachel felt empowerment surge through her. She uncoded the layers of her relationship with Luke, revealing the truth without the shame that once shrouded it. "I worked hard to escape constraints that were placed on me, but I have grown since then. My past doesn't define me. My choices do." The cameras flashed relentlessly, but she didn't shy away. Some murmurs stirred among the reporters, a mix of disbelief and curiosity. But Rachel remained steadfast, channeling the strength she thought she'd lost. "Let us be clear," she continued, a hint of fire in her voice. "Luke is no hero here. He's just a man trying to drag me back into a world I've fought fiercely to distance myself from. My empire isn't a threat. It is my proudest achievement, built on the sweat and hard work of myself and many others in my community." A sense of freedom washed over her like waves crashing against the shore. As she glanced at Tom, he nodded in encouragement, the pride on his face igniting the spark of hope that had been dormant for too long. Rachel felt raw vulnerability seeping through once she revealed her truth, but with it came an exhilarating sense of liberation. The reporters bombarded her with questions, but she was ready. She answered carefully, each response strengthening her narrative. Hours passed, and when it was over, Rachel stepped away from the chaotic crowd, her heart racing but relief washing over her. Tom enveloped her in a tight embrace, the warmth enveloping her like a safety blanket. "You did it, Rachel. You faced them." "I did," she breathed, the burden of secrecy lifting. "It's a new beginning. The past can't haunt me anymore." With a radiant smile, she felt lighter, as if the chains that once bound her had finally shattered. But there was a pinch of worry lurking beneath the euphoria. What if Luke retaliates? What if there's more to come? Tom brushed a strand of hair from her face. "Then we tackle it together as partners. You're not alone anymore." Those words anchored Rachel, filling her heart with warmth. The shadows of the past would always linger, but she could face them. Together, they could create a new chapter, one built on trust and resilience. As they left the venue, the cool breeze felt refreshing against her skin. For the first time, she allowed herself to dream about what lay ahead, the hotels she would create, the lives she would uplift, and sharing that journey with Tom by her side. They were co-authors of a story reborn from ashes. "Let us take this journey together," Rachel said softly, gazing at the horizon etched against the soft sky. "No more shadows." There was a fierce determination in her voice, a promise that rang true. It's a deal, Tom replied, linking his fingers with hers, a tangible reminder of their renewed bond. We'll build something beautiful. Rachel felt a rush of hope, real hope. Everything felt possible now, and with every step they took forward together, they wrote a powerful story of healing, strength, and love. As they walked hand in hand, she dared to believe that the next chapter, filled with triumph and tenacity, would be the best yet. This is your moment, folks. If you've connected with Rachel's journey and want more inspiring stories like this, you need to subscribe now. It's time to show your support. Don't forget to leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help others discover these powerful transformations. Comment with your thoughts and feelings about this ending. We want to hear from you, and share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second. Let us spread hope together.